Hey guys, Ant here with Muff Squad with the final video of our 2017 NAIC format tournament. On our left we have Newey playing Volcanion, and on our right we have Chalet playing DrampaGarb. This is it. It all came down to this. This is the last match of the tournament. These guys went on an impressive run, and Danny is going first. He has a Trubbish on the field. Newey has a baby Volk and 2 Volk EXs, which is a great start for Newey. So unfortunately, Danny on the right with DrampaGarb did not get the turn 1 Bridget to get some Trubs down and some Drampas as well. So he's definitely going to want to see some Pokemon off of this N. Here, I do see he has a DCE, and I think he drew into a Drampa as well, so he will be able to get another Pokemon. He does have an attachment on the Drampa as well. So in this matchup, I think Danny's going to want to set up Trubs, several Trubbishes. I think you need to get the Garbotoxin to prevent steam ups, and also Trashlanch could be pretty good. Newey can limit his item usage, but Trashlanch is an effective attacker for a single prize. Volk does play several items in their deck, so could be something that Danny's trying to set up here. So Newey plays a switch, benches a Staryu, and then switches into the free retreat Staryu. Going to attach a belt and a floatstone onto the 2 Volks. He's going to bench a 3rd Volk. This is leading, he's going to just Sycamore away. He doesn't want to obviously discard those tool cards, so he's just going to attach them. They could be field blower targets as well, but for now they're safe on the field. So Newey does play a Max Elixir. He's going to hit, of course. And the last round he actually did miss his first Max Elixir of the tournament. It took him to get to top 4 to miss, but right back on track. He plays a Max Elixir, and it's the first card. He hits. He attaches it to the baby Volcanion. He still has an attachment for turn. He's going to do 2 steam ups, and this is huge. He's going to take a Power Heater knockout and put 2 energies on the board and take a prize going down to 5. Now, Danny just has a Drampa with a Psychic Energy on the active, and I'm not sure what he's planning on doing now. If he does have a DCE in hand, so he could possibly just attach and hit for the 80 damage with Berserk, or he could Big Wheel GX. If his hand's that dead and he wants to further up, he could Big Wheel GX, shuffle his hand, and draw 10. So he draws for turn. He's going to, let's see here. Does he have an Ultra Ball for a Bridget possibly? Looks like he may have it. He does have an Ultra Ball. He's going to discard a Garbotoxin and a DCE. He does have another DCE in hand, so that's why he can afford to discard that. He's most likely going to play Wonder Tag. He's going to grab Tapu Lele with the Ultra Ball. He's going to Wonder Tag to find a supporter in his deck. He's more than likely going to grab a Bridget here, because he can just Big Wheel for a follow-up. He's just going to go ahead and play Sycamore. Okay, so he probably doesn't want to Big Wheel, so he's just going to Sycamore and just try drawing into some Trubbishes, some backup attackers, and just start setting up a board here. Tapu Lele is actually a good attacker in this matchup as well. Energy Drive on a fully loaded Volk EX can do 100 damage with a Choice Band. It can do 130. That's just a significant amount of damage for just one attachment, and they don't necessarily take the one shot on you. In return, they would need some steam ups, but if you have Garbotoxin available and you end them, you could limit their ability to do that. So Danny does play a Field Blower, getting rid of those 2 tool cards. I believe there's currently 3 or more items in Newey's discard pile, so Trashlanch is hitting for 60 damage so far. Danny definitely wants that item count to go up more. You want it to go to 7 or beyond, so there's still a long way for that to happen. He does play the Sycamore. He is able to get a Trubbish down. He flashes a Floatstone on accident. I think he's just gonna have to big wheel here, and he did attach the DCE to Lele, so he does big wheel. Okay, so Danny's gonna shuffle his hand and draw 10. Does Newey have an N here? Usually big wheels are followed up by an N play. Newey's gonna play a Brookla Hill, and he has the N. It's the top card in his hand. Newey just has it ready to go. Newey's gonna play a Fighting Fury Belt and just N, and just completely disregard the big wheel GX. So Danny does get to at least still see a new fresh hand of 6 though, compared to possibly a dead hand he had before. So either way, Danny, it is kind of a bait just to see some more cards using the big wheel. But so they both draw new cards. Newey draws 5, Danny has 6. Newey's definitely going to want to do some power heaters here, some steam ups and a power heater. He does have the 2 fire energies, so for minimum damage, Newey can expect to do 80 damage with power heater, and he's just going to go ahead and attach those and do the 80 damage to the Drampa, leaving it at 100 HP remaining. Just setting up those attackers. The Volky X is just to take some big knockouts. You want to at least set up 2, and power heater does that efficiently because you're accelerating energy to 2 Pokemon on your bench. So it's a very strong attack, great synergy. Baby Volcanion and Volky X, insane combo. So Danny here, he can't. It's impossible for him to get a Berserk hitting for 150 this turn, because he would have to double attach. So he's gonna play Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Lele, and he's gonna get rid of, let's see, a Choice Band. He's more than likely going to grab a Trubbish or the Garbotoxin Garbodor. So he definitely wants to start turning off those steam ups. A power heater for 20 damage without a steam up is a lot easier to deal with than a power heater steam up that could possibly hit for 80 or 110 damage. So he does opt to just get another Trubbish, which is fine, I believe. He just needs several Trubbishes out. He just needs several attackers. He needs options. He does have the Trub with the Float Stone that eventually most likely will become a Garbotoxin Garbodor. So he's eyeing up that other Trubbish to just become a Trashalanche Garbodor. So I wondered if he has an attachment for turn, and where is he going to opt to attach that? Oh, he has Garbotoxin in hand, so he's going to just evolve into Garbotoxin. So all abilities are offline for both players until that tool card is removed off Garbotoxin. Newey does play 2 Field Blowers in this Volcanion list, so Newey does have ways around that. So Danny does just Righteous Edge the Baby Volk for 20 damage. It does not have a special energy attached to it, so the energy stays. And he did not have an attachment for turn, so that might have cost him a turn. You know, you at least wanted to get a DC on the Berserk and possibly a Rainbow on the next turn on the bench to just amplify Berserk here. But Newey plays N. He's gonna see 5 cards and Danny 6. I believe there is 4 or more items now in the discard, so it's, you know, Danny likes to see that Via Seeker being played there. Newey does get a Float Stone. He has a Max Look, so I don't know if he's going to play it necessarily this turn. He's going to attach to a Volcanion, which one I don't know yet, but he will be taking a knockout with Volcanic Heat on this. Oh no, the Drampa only has, oh yeah, the Drampa has 80 damage, so it is a knockout. I think Newey just is probably deciding if he wants to play the Max Elixir or not. He's just going to retreat into the Volcanion and hit it for 130, going down to 3 prizes. This Volcanion seems pretty safe as far as a knockout goes on Danny's turn. There's no options right now that Danny could one-shot this Volcanion. The only thing that could one-shot a Volcanion is a Trashalanche, and that would require Newey to have more items he has in his discard, and a Berserk with a Choice Band is out of the line. He doesn't even have a Drampa or the energies obviously on the board. So Garbotoxin is still activated. Newey would have to, he cannot attack with this active Volk on his following turn, so he does have to retreat somehow. And if he retreats, he does have to pay the energy cost as of now, unless he has a Floatstone or Switch. So we'll see how Newey deals with that on his turn. Danny is eyeing up an Ultra Ball. More than likely is going to grab a Trashalanche, or maybe just trying to set up a Drampa. So he's going to take a look. I think he's going to grab a Trashalanche. I see he put it to the top of the deck there. He did attach a Psychic Energy to the Trubbish, so yeah, he would be doing Trashalanche here, or unless he energy drives and just saving the Trashalanche for the later games, maybe possibly waiting to see if more items will be played. So energy drive wouldn't be bad as well. Like I mentioned, with Garbotoxin activated, Newey most likely as of now cannot get a return KO on the Lele. He would need steam ups available to him to take the knockout on the Lele. So Danny's just going to attach a Choice Band to the Lele and play N, ending Newey to 3 cards. Then he's going to see 6. This is a great play. N to a low hand size, and Garbotoxin is very punishing in this format. It's almost debilitating. You'd have to draw very well out of it, and especially for Volcanion, without having steam ups, limiting your odds of getting a Field Blower off 3 cards and a Garbotoxin are very slim. So this is actually a very good play on Danny's part here. He's going to end Newey to 3 cards, and he's going to be able to swing into this Volcanion if he opts to attack with Lele. He will be doing 130 damage on it. He does get a Drampa as well, so he is stabilizing here. His board's stabilizing. He retreats. I don't know if that was a good play. Only doing 100 damage here, but now Newey could just attach a Fire Energy to the bench Volcanion and take the knockout on this Drampa. I think you just hit with the Lele and you almost solidify that it's safe on your turn. But Newey does have he did draw 2 Sycamores actually off of that N to 3. So he plays a Sycamore, is discarding 1 more item. I believe there's 6 now. So the items are piling up. Trashalanche is hitting for 120 damage. So Newey's just going to manually retreat here. And I think he's just going to start power heatering. And he's going to attach to the Volcanion and just hit the Trashalanche for 2 for 20 damage, but power up a clean Volk and start powering another clean Volk. So this is a smart play as well. I don't think they put the 20 damage. Okay, Newey realizes, puts the 20 damage on Trashalanche. And now a Trashalanche does take the knockout on this baby Volk, but it's almost kind of just irrelevant to just take 1 prize. This is not even the biggest threat right now that Danny has to deal with. He has almost 2 Volcanions on the bench that could just knock out any Trashalanche without steam up. So Danny does attach a Psychic to Drampa. A Trash Lance, again, will take a knockout on this baby Volcanion. Danny's going to go ahead and play N again, ending Newey to 3 cards. Newey does have a follow-up knockout on this Trash Lance with the Volcanion with the Fighting Fury belt. It will do 140 damage, so Newey can expect to go down to 2 prizes on his next turn. Danny's gonna take 1 prize here, go down to 5. Does Newey draw well off of this end? I did see a Turtonator, GX, and 2 other cards. I'm not sure what they were. So let's see what Danny draws off the end. He's gonna bench another Trubbish. That's good to see. He does play 2 Field Blowers. Now Trash Lance is doing 160 damage. So this is where Trash Lance wants to be. Danny was able to get to the threshold. Now with Choice Bands, he is taking out Volcanions with no tools on them, and everything is almost not safe for Newey. Newey does get a baby Volk, a Fire Energy, and a Turtonator. He drew very well off the end. He's going to go down to 2 prizes. Danny would have to see a Psychic Energy, a Trash Lance, a Choice Band, and if Danny could pull that off, he might be in good shape here, because he will take 2 prizes, go to 3, leaving a 1 prizer active. Newey would then have to bring up the powered Volcanion on the bench, and he could only hit for 130 damage after he kills the Trash Lance Garbodor if Danny was to bring it up, and then it would stay stuck active and cannot attack again. So Newey would have to somewhat retreat, burn the energies. He doesn't have Steam Up or Space Beacon available to him, so Danny absolutely needs to get a Trash Lance knockout this turn and end. So if Danny could pull that off, he may mount a comeback. So let's see if he could pull it off here. Worst case scenario, he does have the Lele that he could hit for 130 damage. Danny's going to play Teammates. He does not have the N. So, but this will set up a combo for a future turn. He's more than likely just going to set up a Drampa, possibly a Trash Lance, and grabbing an N possibly. Actually, I see him holding a Super Rod in deck. I think he's actually out of Trash Lance. There are several in the discard, so I think he actually needs to just get them back in the deck. So Super Rod, Teammates could be good here because he could grab possibly a Super Rod or a N for the next turn, anticipating that more than likely Newey cannot take a knockout on his turn. So this is a interesting position for Danny to be in now. Was unfortunate he did not have the N, but I don't even think the N matters. It looks like he does need access to those Garbodors back from his discard, and possibly maybe some Psychic Energies. More importantly, definitely those Garbodors. I know for a fact there's 2 in the discard. He discarded 1 early off an Ultra Ball and the one that just got KO'd, so that's 2. And Danny just thinking about his lines here, taking his sweet time as he usually does. And does he figure out what 2 cards he wants to grab off Teammates? I think he has them lined up in his hand right now. He has them face down. You do not show your opponent what you're grabbing with Teammates. It is private knowledge because the card says you just grab 2 cards. It does not say to reveal. But more than likely, Newey knows what he's grabbing here. He's probably just grabbing some combo pieces and an N for the following turn. Because if Newey could possibly take a knockout on his turn next turn, will go down to 1 prize. I don't think he could take a 2 prize knockout on his turn. So he could possibly take 1 by killing the Garbotoxin or the Garbodor if he evolves into it. So if he has a Lysander. So Danny does grab a Super Rod he more than likely will be grabbing 2 Garbodors and possibly an energy. Maybe he'll grab 3 Pokemon. There is a Lele in the discard as well. So, Trubbish. Garbodor. I think he grabs possibly just 2 Garbodors and a Trubbish. That might be the play here. Yep, he grabs a Trubbish. I wonder if he grabs the second Garbodor that's in his discard. Could grab a Psychic Energy as well. Super Rod just says he grabs 2 Trubbishes and a Garbodor. Okay. He may still have access to 1 more Trashalanche in the deck. The deck plays 3. So there's putting 1 back in, leaving 1 in the discard. There could be 2 in deck. He's going to play Ultra Ball, playing Floatstone and Sycamore. Maybe he'll grab the Trashalanche, which he does. He has a Choice Band, so I wonder if he has the Psychic Energy here. He more than likely does have the Psychic Energy, so he could take a 2-prize knockout. Killing this Volcanion, going to 3 prizes. Then Newey can take a response KO. Yeah, so he does take the knockout. Newey can take a response KO on this Volk, going down to 1 prize. And I would imagine Danny had got the N off the teammates, or he's just sitting on a VS Seeker 4N. So it's going to be interesting here because Newey needs to somehow set up a secondary attacker here. Danny could actually Lysander and kill the heavily damaged Volcanion and go down to 1 prize as well, leaving the Lele active. And without Steam Ups, it's going to be hard for Danny to deal for Newey to deal with the Lele active. So I think Newey just Brooklet Hill. He wanted to see what was available in his deck. He is going to play a Fire Energy onto Turtonator and just Volcanic Heat for knockout. So Lysander would be good, but also N would be great, ending your opponent just to 1 hand. But if Danny plays N here, he doesn't take a knockout. So maybe Newey does have a small hand here. I wonder if this is a risk you just take. Maybe you just take the guaranteed KO here with, if you could get a Trubbish and a Lysander play this turn, that might be almost a checkmate situation, because then he could just Trashalanche on the following turn and kill almost anything on it, except the Turtonator, of course. But I think Danny has to Lysander if he has access to it. He does have a VS Seeker. I'm wondering what supporter he will see off of this. Also, playing the Lysander also resets Volcanic Heat on this active Volcanion, so if he could somehow retreat back into it, he will have access to the Volcanic Heat again. So, I mean, this is a tough situation for Danny to be in right now. I mean, he's going to grab teammates, which, okay, maybe he just wants to grab Trubbish. He does grab a Trubbish. He may not even have access to Lysander. This deck is running a bit small, so there's not many options available to him here. Danny does have access to several VS Seekers, so he does have access to ends with some VS Seekers in hand. So I did see one of the cards he grabbed off of the teammates One is a Trubbish for sure. Not sure what the other is. Can't see it. But he's going to definitely bench that Trubbish. And that will more than likely become a Trashalanche. So we may just see a energy drive attack here for 130 damage, which he does. And Newey top decks a Via Seeker, which could be very good here. I think he just wants to hold on to it. Maybe, I know the deck does play an Olympia, so maybe the Olympia could be, he has a switch, so he's going to be able to protect those energies here. And I think he's going for Nitro Tank GX. That's going to bring 5 energies onto his board. Oh, this is a massive play here. He plays the Brooklyn Hill to grab a clean Volcanion. He's just going to set up, he's going to Nitro Tank and just bring 5 energies onto his board from his discard pile. This is almost just going to solidify a knockout or a KO here. He's going to power up the Turtonator. He's going to put 3 onto a clean Volk EX. Newey, out of nowhere, now currently has 3 big heavy hitter attackers. So this is just insane to deal with. I don't think there's anything Danny can do at this point. Danny would need to somehow take a double knockout, and it's almost impossible. I don't think he plays an Oricorio to put some counters. I don't even think there's enough Pokemon in Newey's discard pile to even pull off that play. So it looks like, I'm not sure how many items. I don't know if a Trashalanche, but it's irrelevant because then a Volcanic Heat just kills Trashalanche. So, I mean, Newey does need to find a Fighting Fury Belt or a Field Blower to kill this active Lele. Turtonator's attack only hits for 160 damage, so it would be 10 damage short. So, I mean, an end play might be the best play here, just to limit Newey from having a Field Blower in hand or drawing into a Field Blower, because Newey would only see 1 card off of end. So I would almost be certain that an end play is the play here, because Danny could end Newey to 1 and hit this Turtonator for 130 damage. More than likely, odds statistically would say that Newey can probably not take the knockout on this active Lele. So it would survive with no abilities and no Fighting Fury Belt. He can't take that. So then Danny could have somehow attack with the Drampa on a following turn, going down to 1 prize, and then having a Trashalanche still available to him to take his last prize. So that could be the line. If he ends Newey here and somehow gets a DCE onto that Drampa, then Danny might be in business. I would have put the Choice Band onto the Drampa just to guarantee almost. It doesn't even matter. Actually, yeah, Trashalanche is fine. So Danny 100% has to end and find his last DCE, or maybe he has more, but I know he's down several DCE. So he is going to end. I'm almost certain he's going to play end, which he does. This is, yeah. And Newey just shows that he had Via Seeker in hand for Lysander for a game. He could have just Lysandered up the Trashalanche or Garbotoxin for knockout. So this is, I think, what Danny has to do. He has to end Newey to 1, just limit his hope he draws into a dead card. And if Danny again could get the DCE off of this end, it'd be huge, because then he could have 2 attackers that could possibly survive Newey's attacks, and he could take 3 prizes in 2 turns. So, wow, Newey just shows the Field Blower, and that indicates that Garbotoxin will just come off. He'll top deck a card. He could Space Beacon it, grab 2 energies from the discard pile, and just use the damage for killing anything on Danny's board to take his last prize. So unfortunate that Newey's end to 1 was actually a field blower. But to be fair, Newey plays 2 and he did not use any in that match. So both of them were in the deck. Odds were that he would have seen them eventually in the late game. Newey did play that very conservatively and very good, using his resources wisely and just setting up attackers on his board. So game 1 does go to Mike Newey. They are setting up for a game 2 here. That was a pretty interesting game. Newey did get a good start. Danny, on the other hand, it wasn't a bad start, but not how he wanted to set up. I mean, obviously the deck didn't play Bridget turn 1. That is the optimal start. Just get all your units down, get an attachment, setting up multiple trash lances at once. Danny was kind of always setting up one from behind. He was always kind of a turn behind setting up a Trubbish. So you want to put pressure on your opponent by just lining up those single prize attackers and the Drampas. So I'm pretty sure Danny's going to opt to go first in game 2 here. And this tournament was a lot of fun, seeing some old friends. It's been a very long time since we all got together and play cards because of the pandemic we're currently in. We did quarantine for a very long time, and we took safety measures. We had antibacteria, hand sanitizer and whatnot at every table. We wore masks. We eventually took them off because it's kind of hard to deal with, but it was a good time. I do hope that the community is able to enjoy the game again when it's definitely safe to play again. I don't think there's any necessary rush to start things up again. We should keep in mind the safety measures in mind, but as I was saying, it was fun just getting back together with the guys, playing a great format in 2017 Nats, and just catching up and having fun here. And I personally love this format. I actually went to this Nats in 2017. It was my first Nationals coming back into the game, and it was tons of fun. And this format really got me very interested in the game again, and it was just very skill intensive. So many viable decks, so many fun decks, and it was just a great time. And Guardians Rising, I think, was a big factor of this format. It was the last format that was legal for this tournament. It was Primal Clash to Guardians Rising, and Guardians Rising was just game changing. The set alone, almost every GX in the set became a viable deck. I mean, you have Turtonator, Drampa, Lele, Alolan Ninetales, Metagross. I mean, it was just such an impactful set. And then, not to mention the trainer cards that were in Field Blower, Choice Band, Rescue Stretcher. Insane. It was just, I believe it made the game just better, and probably one of the best formats the game has ever seen. Very fair, very fun. So they do get set up. Newey, again, same as game 1. He gets 2 Volk EXs and a baby Volk in the active. And Danny's just going to have to start the Dramp again, and he's going to Lele, but more than likely he does have Bridget here. So if he has the Bridget, that may be a good sign. And then Danny would just need to have the energy attachment for turn 1, which could put him ahead here. So it looks like Danny is moving some targets to the front of his deck, which means he probably has the Bridget. There's the Bridget. He grabs Trub, Drampa. He's off to the races. Great start. If he has an energy attachment turn 1, that's even better. That's exactly what DrampaGarb wants to see while they're setting up. So it is worth mentioning that Danny's playing the DrampaGarb list that Tord Reklev used to win the actual 2017 NAIC. The deck is very punishing, very good, very strong. Garbotoxin is just very, very unforgiving. It doesn't allow you to set up your board, use Lele's, and even Lele under Garbotoxin, even though you can't use your own wonder tags, Lele is just a very good attacker in this format. DC and choice band on Lele is just really good. So Tor did play 4 Lele's, which is kind of unheard of at the time, and it proved to be very consistent for it, obviously him winning the tournament. So he does get the DC on the Drampa, and Newey's just gonna draw for turn. He does have access to a wonder tag Lele here. I wonder what supporter he will be playing. He's eyeing up a Sycamore, so he probably has a dead hand here, and he wants to see some fire energies to start power heating and do some damage and bring some energies back on board. So he does play an Ultra Ball. He does have a Max Elixir in hand, so I believe his hand is Max Elixir Sycamore, so he is going to be able to play a Max Elixir here before he plays the Sycamore to see if he hits an energy onto a bench guy. This is Mike Newey. He does not with Max Elixir, so odds are he's going to hit this Max Elixir. So his hand is Max Elixir. I think it's a Field Blower as well. It's going to be unfortunate to lose a Field Blower this early. First card, of course, is a Fire Energy. There's 2 Fire Energies in his hand. He's just debating where he wants to put it on. Puts it on the Turtonator GX here. And then he's going to see a fresh new hand of 7. I believe he's going to have a 0 card after the Sycamore. So high five Newey, playing out his hand perfectly on this turn 1. And he does play Sycamore, high five with a 0 card hand. He's going to want to see some fire energies here. Does he get fire energies? He gets several, exactly what he wants to see. We will be seeing 2 steam ups here. He has actually another Volc EX in hand as well, but he needs to attach that energy. He's going to do 80 damage, putting a nice chunk into this Drampa here and accelerating his board, almost powering up a Turtonator on turn 1. So this was an impressive turn on Newey's turn. Great start, even insane start. So it does put, I like how Danny did put the energy on the bench Drampa, because now Danny anticipated the hit on this active Drampa with the power heater, so it just automatically activates Berserk here. So Danny, right on cue, put the choice band on the Drampa. If he can get an energy on it, he's just gonna big wheel. Oh, it's unfortunate. He doesn't even have much he can do. He has to big wheel. But if Danny had energy Lysander, that would have been huge. He could have taken out a knockout on a Volk and just went ahead, and that could have been huge, because it's going to be hard to deal with. Well, actually, Newey could have taken a knockout on this Drampa as well if he attaches somehow to the Turtonator and could get a steam up, which it looks like Newey doesn't even have a supporter in hand. He has a Fire Volk, a Fury Belt, Float Zone, and a Baby Volk. So that is unfortunate, but Newey could further his setup here. He could at least steam up and power heater for 50, putting 50 damage onto the Drampa, which is not bad. Newey put the damage on himself, realizing that. So he did not play end, so Danny's actually going to see this 10 card hand, which is great. I'm expected to see Danny just set up and finalize his board here for a great turn. If he actually got the Lysander here and an energy, we could very well see a knockout on a Volk EX, which might just be worth it. This Drampa will get knocked out on Newey's following turn regardless if Danny takes a knockout on anything. So there's no way that Drampa could kill the Turtonator. Turtonator does have 190 damage, and Berserk with a choice band only does 180, so that's the only option that Danny does not have available to him. He cannot kill that Turtonator, which is smart for Newey to make that his primary first attacker, because it is safe from a turn to Berserk. So very smart on Newey's part. can't really see Danny's hand. He does have an energy. I wonder if he does have access to Lysander. I think he has an Ultra Ball as well, so he could grab another Tapu Lele and Wonder Tag for Lysander. So he does have that Ultra Ball. I think he's eyeing up the Lysander play here. I think you absolutely just take a knockout on a Volky X. It takes away a steam up, it takes away a threat. It's just a no-brainer here. You just want to optimize. Otherwise, this Volcanion this Drampa is probably dead on the following turn. So might as well get your money's worth and take a knockout while you can. So he is playing Ultra Ball, but he discarded a Lele. Maybe he has Lysander in hand. So he does want to get Garbotoxin online. So that is going to be a priority for Danny right now, which is not bad. But I mean, if he opted to do this instead of a Lysander play, I don't know if that was correct. So yeah, he must have a Lysander available to him in hand, or possibly another Tapu Lele. Like I mentioned before, Towards List did play 4, so there's one on field and one in discard. So either in his prizes or his deck, he has 2 more available somewhere. So he's going to evolve into Garbotoxin. I wonder if he opts to activate it now. Evolves into the Garbotoxin Garbodor. Does have an energy. He has not supported for turn yet, so this is interesting. I'm not sure what Danny's eyeing up here. I don't think a knockout on a Volcanion is even worth, on a baby Volk is even worth it. I think Lysander was absolutely the play here. Okay, I'm not sure at all what Danny's doing here. I don't know why attaching to a bench Drampa is even relevant. I mean, if he's trying to prepare for a second attacker, it's already heavily damaged. I don't understand why he wouldn't just do the Lysander play this turn. And he activates Garbotoxin with a Choice Band. Oh, he has a Lysander. Okay, he does have a, but he can't attack. I don't get this. That was a terrible play. I mean, if you have the Lysander, why not just solidify a knockout? That to me doesn't make absolutely any sense. So regardless, maybe Danny's seeing something that I'm not. He possibly has a DC in hand for a following Berserk to do 150, but Newey does have a Float Stone, and he's going to retreat. He is actually going to be able to take a knockout with Turtonator. He doesn't even need a steam up because this Drampa does have 50 damage on it. So Newey's going to probably attach onto the other Volky X. You know, he's going to attach to the active, which could be good too. He could just have 2 Turtonator attacks almost lined up back to back. Newey now changing his mind. He may actually attach it to, okay, he's going to attach it to the clean Volk. Yep, he attaches it to the clean Volcanion, and he's going to go ahead and take the knockout, doing 160, going to 4 prizes. And Danny is going to promote this Drampa with the Float Stone and has 80 damage, 100 HP remaining. So in order for Newey to take a knockout, I don't think Newey can take a knockout on his turn. So we may see a Nitro Tank from Newey come on his following turn. But I don't think there's many items in Newey's discard pile, even for a Trash Lance, to do a significant amount of damage here. Lele, if he has a DCE, only hits for 60 with a choice band 90, and a Berserk would only do 80 damage here. So again, I think that last turn play that Danny did is kind of catching up to here. Danny could have been at 4 prizes, and then he could have chipped away at something with the Lele on the following turn instead of setting up a second Drampa. I mean, it's almost irrelevant to even attack with this Drampa because it has a float stone, and you can't even Berserk for 180 damage. So I don't see why setting up a second Drampa, or at least that Drampa that was heavily damaged and has a float stone, is irrelevant. He does attach to the Lele. That could be a solid attacker here this turn, but I'm not sure how Danny follows up here. So Newey's also not, Newey doesn't have much options himself either. He does have a Nitro Tank GX that he could bring 5 energies from his discard onto his board. He could just immediately power up 2 big attackers, lining up for his final 4 prizes by killing a Drampa and the Lele. So he does draw several fires and a Brooklet Hill off this end. I'm not sure if he has a supporter in hand. Could be punishing, so we more than likely will be seeing a Nitro Tank. We could attach for a turn onto a Pokemon, and then Nitro Tank bringing more energy. So Danny does put the choice band on the Lele, and he's going to energy drive for 90 damage, putting that Turtonator at 100 HP remaining. He's going to draw for turn. Does get another Volk EX. That could be very good, because he could very well just power up 2 clean Volks now with Nitro Tank. But I would imagine he wants to at least put some energies on the at least one. So Newey grabs a Staryu off of the Brooklet Hill. Newey has not played a lot of items here. He has not played any Field Blower. So I'm interested to see how Newey is going to attach to this active the Volk, and then we're going to see a Nitro Tank for sure. Nitro Tank, and he's going to bring back 5 energies, or as many he has in his discard if it's under 5. I know there's 2 from the attack that he paid. There may be only 2 energies here. Wow. But that may be all he needs. If he attaches to the active, okay, and puts one on the bench, so energy drive on Danny's turn as of now would only hit for 110 damage, which would actually kill the Lele. It does kill the Turtonator. There's 90 damage on it currently. It does 110 right now, so this Turt will go down. Maybe Newey was just anticipating a knockout. It kind of gets the Turtonator out of the active, which can make things easier for Newey on his turn. So Danny does pretty much get a turn now to set up some secondary attackers. He has a Rescue Stretcher he's debating on playing. Maybe he grabs a Drampa back from his discard and puts it on his board. Oh, it's a Rainbow Energy. This is great. Now Berserk is online if it's powered up. So Danny's stabilizing here. I mean, the end hurt Newey from the last turn, and it's kind of buying Danny some turns to make up for a not so great turn the turn before that. So Danny does just take the energy drive knockout, putting in them both at 4 prizes. Newey is eyeing up an energy on the baby Vulcan. He's just going to go ahead and power heater. He's going to bring those 2 Oh, that could have been why Newey attached to the active. That's very smart of him. He anticipated the knockout. He wanted those 2 fire energies to go into his discard pile so that he could follow up with a power heater and just bring back those energies and onto other attackers. So he does power up a clean Volk EX, and he starts powering up a Tapu Lele. So he does hit the Lele for 20 damage, putting it at 150. Danny can only do 180 damage to this Volk as of now with 2 energies. Danny could retreat into the Drampa and attach a DCE for a Berserk knockout, but then he would be leaving a heavily damaged 2 prizer in the active, so I don't even think it's worth to do that. So Danny's kind of I don't even think there's enough Trash Lance damage. I don't think there's anything near over 5 for Trash Lance as of now. Seeing if Lysander plays are available to him. If he could Lysander up the Volk on the bench that has 50 damage, can he do enough? He could do 110 damage. That will not be enough unless Danny has another DCE he wants to attach to the active, which could do 2, 4, 6, 120, 150 damage. So a DCE, maybe even 1 energy. Let's see. 3 for 130. Actually, if he could just put a single Psychic Energy and a Lysander, he could kill that Volcanion on the bench, going down to 2 prizes. And it also would be putting a Floatstone in the discard pile, so that could be an option here. If Danny has access to Lysander here and an energy, I think that may be very well the turn he wants to see this turn. I'm not sure what card he's thinking about playing here. He's going to add the DCE, so he probably has 2, 4, 6. So this doesn't kill the active, but it could kill the bench Volcanion, which could be very good this turn. Does he have access to Lysander? He needs a VS Seeker. There's already one in the discard pile. He may have one more available. He's going to play Sycamore. I'm not sure if this was the correct play. If you're just going to play Professor Sycamore, then you almost just kind of... No, it's... Oh, wait, is it a knockout? Was there damage on it? No. Yeah, it's not a knockout. They realized it. It's only 120 damage. So Danny probably just miscalculated on his turn. He thought it was a knockout. You more than like... If you're not even taking a knockout, I think you just always attach that DCE to the Drampa then. Or you attach it to the active if you had a Lysander, but that might have been a misplay on Danny's part and actually might just cost him the game now. Newey's still kind of dead drawing though, not drawing into supporters, he's just drawing into Pokemon and energies. He could actually Steam Artillery with the active Volcanion and do 100 damage, putting this Lele at 120 damage with 50 HP remaining. So Danny's just debating on, Newey's just debating on what he's going to do here. He doesn't have a supporter, so he's just going to have to attach for the turn. And attaching to the Lele would even be a bad idea here, because can Lele take the knockout? If there's 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, it'll do 120. But I think you just almost always just... if you could Steam Artillery and leave a single prize active, that's just even better. Oh, but Newey going to just bench a clean Volk here. No, I think he's debating, and I think he just wants to Steam Artillery. I think that might be the better line here. No, he does opt to bench a clean Volk, and he's just going to Power Heater for another 20, which is fine. It's setting up perfect math here. The Lele is a Volcanic Heat away from a knockout, and it's leaving a single prizer in the active position. So, great play. If Danny, again, does have access to a Lysander here, he could kill the Volk that has 50 damage, which I would imagine he needs to try pulling that off now. He's already kind of behind here, so that may be the play if he has access. Does he have a VS Seeker or Lysander in hand? Gonna play a Super Rod. Gonna grab some resources back, some energies, and some Pokemon possibly. This is a very intense game. This is the finals. All the stakes are on the line for the Muff champion. So he does play Super Rod. He's eyeing up 2 Psychic Energies. And he does get 1 more target. He could get a Pokemon or another energy. I believe there is another Psychic Energy in the discard. So very good to get those resources, but he does get the Drampa. He will be shuffling those back into his deck. He's probably going to play N if he doesn't shuffle his deck. He's going to play an Ultra Ball. Very well be grabbing a Trashalanche or a Drampa off of this. He's going to discard a Rainbow Energy and a Sycamore. No, now changing his mind. I'm going to discard a Lele. And I believe that makes 3 Leles down now. But Garbotoxin is online, so Wonder Tag could potentially not work for the rest of the game. He's going to grab a Drampa. I wonder if he has an attachment that he could start powering up that Drampa. Because if he could set up a clean Drampa, that could swing the game around. If he could somehow Lysander take 2 prizes this turn, he'll go down to 2 prizes. So Danny definitely needs a Lysander this turn. I don't think he has access to it. Does have the attachment though. So he will be putting 10 damage on that Drampa. Let's see here. Is he pulling the Lysander? I think he has a VS Seeker. Just gonna play a Sycamore. Unfortunate. He didn't have access to Lysander, so that's unfortunate. So he's just gonna have to opt to take. I mean, he could Trashalanche. He could retreat this Lele. I think even just taking a Trashalanche knockout was even better. Just not leave a 2 prizer up. But yeah. So now this thing is a Volcanic Heat away from winning. Newey just needs a Lysander to win the game. He could kill that benched, heavily damaged Drampa here. Newey will be taking the knockout, going to 2 prizes. So Newey's just going to be looking for a Lysander or a VS Seeker. I'm not sure if there's a Lysander in his discard. There's pretty much no items in his discard. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think even on Danny's last turn, he needed to at least Trashalanche knockout to just avoid Newey from taking 2 prizes. Because now Newey's just 1 knockout away. At least force your opponent to have to take 2 more knockouts. And you could both be tied at 3. Danny could have possibly taken the return knockout on this Volcanion with the new clean Drampa. He just needs a DCE. He could have been a teammates away from finding that or just having it in hand. So Danny is going to promote the one with the float stone just because it's he could retreat it here. I do see the DCE, so Berserk will take the knockout even without a choice band. It has 50 damage, so I mean, knowing that you had the DC in hand, I don't see why you wouldn't have taken the Trash Lunch. Not. Well, actually, there may be just no items. There had to have been at least one item though, because Trash Lunch, that Volcanion had 120 damage. It just needed to do 10 damage to it. You could have even acid sprayed and taken the knockout and just leave a single prize attacker in the active, because Newey going down to 2 prizes is kind of just giving him just a Lysander for game. But I mean, Danny could attach the DCE and play an N. He could attach the DCE to the bench Drampa and play N. Take the knockout, goes down to 1, and just hope Newey just doesn't draw Lysander for the game, because Newey could just take a KO on that Drampa with a Lysander that's currently active. So I think you just very well go for the Drampa Berserk, the bench Drampa Berserk play, and just N. So we'll see if Danny eyes up that line here. Danny is going to attach the DCE. He is going to take the knockout this turn. He's going to go down to 1 prize. Does he have access to N though? He has a Rescue Stretcher. I don't think you play Rescue Stretcher or to deck. If you do have a Garbodor Trash Lunch, it wouldn't hurt just to Rescue Stretcher 1 to hand and evolve the Garbodor. But yeah, does he have access to N? He does. He puts it to the front. That's very well the supporter that we will be seeing, and he needs to play this turn. So he is going to see 3 cards off of this, and Newey will see 2 cards. Newey's deck is fairly big, so Newey very well could see some dead cards off of this, and again, Newey is just a Lysander away from winning this game. I'm not sure if there's a Lysander in his discard pile, so he may very well just need to draw into the Lysander itself. The bench Drampa has 170 damage. Newey does not have access to steam ups, so it would be very dangerous for Newey to promote. And Newey draws 2 cards. I can't see what they are. Knowing Newey, if he did have the Lysander, he would have just showed Danny off and just not waste time. He does promote into the Drampa. He's going to take the KO here. He's going to go down to his final prize. And oh my god, his top deck is the Lysander. He also drew an N. That'll do it. Mike Newey is our MAIC first annual champion with Volcanion EX. A man who's very familiar with saying steam up, steam up, steam up, knockout. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this whole tournament. That will conclude it. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel, comment below what you guys thought. If you guys want to see any future formats or other formats in the future, please comment and let us know what you guys want to see. We're planning on doing more retro format tournaments in the future. And again, congratulations to Danny Chalet and Mike Newey for making the finals. And hope you guys enjoyed, and stay safe.